welcome to Lauren Reed Color. Thanks for joining me today. In this week's Saturday Snippets, we are continuing to work on our page in Romantic Country by Eriy. The page we're working on is the Sleepy Time page. And I was thinking that this week we would continue working on the wood that we began last week. But first I want to darken up some shadows on the background, do the floor, do the light around the light sources, and then we'll move on to the wood. We may or may not also get to the bed. We will see. For this, of course, I am using Prismacolor pencils. So let me just show you the colors. So for the light, let me just organize myself here. For the light around the light sources, we're going to use eggshell and a tiny bit of deco yellow. For the shading around the wall that we've done there, we're going to use sepia and blending out with putty beige. And then for the wood elements, we're going to be using different combinations. So we're going to be using dark umber, light umber, brown ochre, and I thought we would also do this frame around the image. For that, we're going to be using artichoke, sand, and dark umber, because we're going to make it look gold. Right, so that's the plan. We'll see what we get to. Just a reminder to everybody that these are chatty videos. If you're not interested in hearing me ramble on, please feel free to mute me and just color along with us. Also, you can color a different page and listen to my ramblings, whatever you prefer. Before we get started, I thought I would show you what I've been up to this week. First up, I gave into temptation during Amazon Prime Week and got a few books. They had a wonderful sale of buy two and get one free, so it was perfect. I do have one other package that is stuck at customs, but I will hopefully be getting it this week. Now, let's start off with this one. This is my original copy of A Court of Thorns and Roses coloring book, based on the book series by Sarah J. Maas. It is the book that began my coloring journey. I saw it in a bookstore, and the rest is history. So I have colored a few pages in this book, but as I was coloring, I also tore pages out. I cut it down because it was damaged. I recolored some of them. I didn't color others. There are pages that I want to recolor. So I'm really disappointed that I tore the pages out of the book and I put it on the shelf and then didn't touch it again. So I decided that it was time to buy a replacement copy that I would actually work in. And so I bought a new edition of A Court of Thorns and Roses. This is the American version. This is the British version. This one I got from the late lamented Book Depository, which is no longer with us, and we're very sad about that. But yeah, I got this one. Now, I did a bit of a comparison. As far as I can tell, there is actually no difference. I think that the paper in the American version might be slightly thinner, but not by much. And I do know that it does take water mediums and pencils. Now, the pages are single-sided in theory. There are pages with the story on the opposite side. So if you don't mind sacrificing this page, you can also use alcohol markers. So I'm looking forward to getting back into this book and coloring more pages in it, because I do love it. I think it's a beautiful book, and I was sad that it was languishing on my shelf. I also got Tales from City Among the Stars by Hannah Carlson. This is an older book of hers. When it first came out, I didn't think that it would really suit me, and I also had quite a few Hannah Carlson books already, but I have since seen beautifully colored pages, and I like the steampunk vibe. It's right up my alley, and so I decided that I would get it after all, and I'm really pleased that I did. I'm not such a fan of the wallpaper pages, but most of the other pages are beautiful, and of course it is Gibbs Smith, so the paper is great and takes all mediums, not alcohol markers, because the images are double sided, so unfortunately no alcohol markers. And last I got Spooky. This one is by Sarah Shevchik. I hope I pronounced her name correctly. I love this adorable little cat, and again I've seen lots of colored pages of this cute little cat on his adventures. I think he's a wizard and he's just adorable. The quality of the book is amazing. The paper is thick. It is single-sided, so you can use alcohol markers, so absolutely delightful. And we also have a page with axolotls, which is the prompt for the Wild Year of Color hashtag, hosted by Jamie at Finding Joy in Color. Yeah, so I got some of these books. Now, I will be doing towards the end of July and beginning of August a haul video showing what I got since the beginning of 2026. I did get a few things, even though I have been pretty good and not been overdoing it. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so now let me show you the pages that I actually colored this week. I have a challenge that I'm doing in July, and it is color for 31 minutes for 31 days in 31 pages in Rooms of Wonder by Johanna Basford. I did put up on the channel a progress report for week 1 if you're interested in seeing, but of course I've continued into week 2, and I have colored, started coloring the second batch. The first one is this floral key page, which I have started coloring, and I've just done lots of little flowers so far, not very much. Took 31 minutes to do that. Interesting. Another one that I colored this week is the conservatory page with a different color palette. I'm also choosing color palettes at random. So I began coloring the pink chair. I haven't finished shading it. It needs some more work, but overall I like it. I think it's cute. And then I also worked on, one second, this wallpaper page. So I started doing it. It's going to be shades of blue. Now I started with a base of Neocolor 2s, and unfortunately it bled through a little bit, so I'm not going to be continuing basing with Neocolor 2s, or if I base with Neocolor 2s, it's only going to be the lightest blue. These dark blues bled through, which I'm a little bit upset about, because I think doing the entire background only with pencil will really be bad for my hand. On the other hand, I'll do it in short bursts, a little bit at a time, so it might be okay. I'm a little bit upset that there's bleed through, yeah, but I'm thinking that water mediums might not be good for this book. Yeah, anyway, so slowly but surely I'm making progress with my challenge and beginning lots of pages in Rooms of Wonder, so I'm very pleased with that. Then I have a couple of pages that I finished this week. The first one is in my coloring planner. So the page that I completed for July is this one, which I called Houseplant, and this is the palette that I used for it. So the colors don't exactly match, but it's the same general idea. So we have these greens, these muted yellows, muted beige, muted oranges, and I really love the way the page came out. It's different from all of the other pages that I've colored so far in this journal, which are a lot brighter, but I like it. I think it's original, and it was a lot of fun. It is colored with Castle Arts pencils, and of course these pages are by Agotapop. I purchased them off Etsy, printed them and put them into my planner, and every month I color a different one, and it's a lot of fun. So that is one page that I completed. Another page that I completed is in Mythographic Wild Summer by Joseph Katzenbang. This was a leftover page from June. I was coloring this, one second, hippo page for the Wild Year of Color hashtag, hosted by Jamie at Finding Joy in Color. June's prompt was a hippo, and so I finished my hippo page. I really like the way it came out. I based with alcohol marker, then I used Castle Arts pencils, and I also used the Artext acrylic markers for the water. And for the bushy trees. So this is a technique where I put pencil, then I put the acrylic marker, I dab it with a Q-tip, and then I also put little flowers. And for the water, this is a technique that I need to work on. I don't think I got my water blend as nice as I would have liked, but I just put a layer down of a light blue and then a darker blue on top, and then went in with an Artistro marker and drew in the water shapes. But I do like it. I think it's a lovely page, and yeah, I have very nostalgic feelings for this page because it reminds me of going to water parks when I was a child. Of course, there were no hippos, but still there were slides. Yeah, so I finished this page in Wild Summer by Joseph Katzenbang. The next page that I completed is in Luna by Lydia Fenwick. This is a buddy color with Lisa from Lisa's Coloring Nook, who contacted me at the beginning of the month and asked if another lady could join us for our buddy. And I said, of course, the more the merrier. So we also have another buddy whose name is Atoma Vanta on Instagram. And the page that we colored together is the Shepherdess page. If you've been following the channel for a while, you know that I have a roommate. She's my assistant in all things technology related, and she has been asking me to color a sheep for quite a while. So she finally got her wish, and she's very happy with the page, so all's good. Anyway, what did I use on this page? I based with Neocolor 2s in the background, watercolor pencils for the sheep, the jeans, and the foliage on the bottom, and then the skin is Prismacolor pencils, and then everything else is shaded with Colorsoft. It's Colorsoft and Castle Arts pencils for quite a bit of the shading. Now, I do feel I wanted to have dark skin tone, and while it is darker than my usual skin tone, it's not as dark as I would have liked, but I think it's something that I need to work on, and the more you practice, the better you get. I do like the way I did her hair and the way I did the sheep. Now, the sheep is, as I said, it's a layer of watercolor pencil. Then I started to shade with Colorsoft, and then for the deeper shadows, I took a Langwao gel pen, I scribbled it down, and then I activated it with water. This is a technique that I learned from Shell at Shell's Coloring Journey. So thank you, Shell, because that was very useful. And then, of course, on the grass, I used my own grass technique. If you're interested in seeing how I color grass, there is a video on the channel. Yeah, so I think it came out beautifully, and that was a really fun buddy. My buddies haven't finished. They're almost done, and I will show you their pages in the completed pages video for July. Okay, so that is Lunar by Lydia Fenwick. The last page that I worked on is a WIP. It's in Daydreams by Hannah Carlson. This is my project book, and I'm slowly but surely chipping away at it. And the page that I began is this Wild Rose Garden page. I am coloring this using Colorsoft pencils. I decided that I wanted to have blue backgrounds throughout this book. So all of the backgrounds in the book are blue. Yes, if you've seen some of my previous videos about this book, then you know that I've decided to have blue backgrounds, and so of course the black background will be blue. Now for the flowers, I'm thinking of peachy pinks, and for the butterflies, I'm leaning towards purple, but I might change my mind. These leaves are two different kinds of leaves, and I'm going to do them in two different shades of muted green. So that is my plan for this page. And so now that I've shown you what I've been up to, let's get on with coloring in our sleepy time page. I want to start by deepening up the shadows around the frame, around the window, the mirror, and underneath the bookshelves. So for that, I'm using sepia, and I will blend out with Putty Beige. So we're just going to start with that. So welcome everybody. I hope that you've had a good week. My week was relatively uneventful. I did a few weeks ago, a couple of Saturday Snippets ago, I told you that I needed to go to the optometrist to have my eyes checked, and I have been given multifocals. Now, there was a little bit of a debacle. So I got a call from them, and they told me that my glasses were ready, and I went and I got them and I started wearing them. and I really didn't feel any different. I mean, it was still blurry close up. I was still struggling to see, and I was a little bit, upset that it didn't seem to have changed very much. So I went back. I told them about my struggles, and she said she would send them back to the lab. Anyway, I got a call that afternoon after I had been there, and she said to me, "This is very strange. The numbers on this pair of glasses are identical to your old numbers." And we were struggling to remember and figure out why that was. And then she said, "Didn't you also give us a pair of glasses to have straightened because you sat on them?" And I said, "Yes." So it turns out that those were the glasses that they gave back to me. And since then, I have gotten the actual multifocals, and they are much better. So at first, seeing at a distance is fine. I'm having absolutely no problems there. Seeing closer up, it's definitely a learning curve. I have to keep, reminding myself to move my eyes and not my head. But yeah, slowly but surely, it seems to be working out. It's okay. Sometimes I forget all about it and I just do it automatically. And I'm hoping that that is going to, eventually lead to me having, the multifocals just work for me without me needing to even think about changing, about moving my eyes and not my head. So, yeah. So that was the glasses incident. Sometimes I forgot all about those other glasses, and so I was very confused as to why it wasn't, helping my vision. So that was that. What else did I do? As I said last week, I was marking exams. So the way things work is after you have submitted grades for the course, the students have 4 days to appeal their grade. Now, in order for them to appeal their grade, they have to be able to see their test. And when you submit the grades for the college, you take the tests in, and there's a lady who scans them into the computer system, and then the students can see their exam. They can log into the system and they can see their exam. Now, I had 2 groups. The first group, their exams got scanned. They got scanned in, no problem. And I only had 1 appeal. And the student was right. She explained her answer, and her answer made sense to me. So I accepted her appeal, and she got 3 more points. I hope she was happy. Here, just a tiny bit, because this is closer to the light source. Anyway, the other group, which has 67, it's actually 2 groups, but in the same course. There are 67 students in that group. Anyway, I kept getting emails throughout the week from students telling me that they can't see their exams haven't been scanned, what should they do? And I kept having to tell them that, once I give the exams in for scanning, that's it. I no longer have any influence. And so I kept telling them, please, contact the testing office, ask them what's going on. And they only have 4 days to appeal. So I actually sent their tests in for scanning last Thursday. On Monday, when I'd gotten even more emails, I phoned the testing office myself, and they said that I have to talk to the lady who does the scanning. So I phoned her, but she didn't answer the phone. And then I looked again this Thursday, and they still have not been scanned. So I sent a message to my students. I said, look, as soon as the tests are scanned, I will consider your appeal, even though the official appeal, date has passed. But they still haven't been scanned. Anyway, Most of them passed. There are only a couple of students who didn't pass, but they do want to, they like to get the occasional extra point if they can, which is fair enough. But until they're scanned, there is not much we can do, because they have to be able to see their test and compare their test to the answer key. Yes, and then they can put in an appeal. Anyway, I feel sorry for them. They're very anxious. And then on Thursday, my other students, my 20th century literature students, had their exam. And yeah, I think it went smoothly. Sometimes the questions that they ask are so like, did you actually read the question that I asked? Okay, so that's that. Now what I want to do is I want to do the glow around the light sources. So for that, we're going to use Deco Yellow and Eggshell. So I'm going to put the Deco Yellow and blend out with Eggshell. Now I'm going to put only a really small amount of Deco Yellow. If after the other elements are put in, I feel that I need more glow, then I will put more glow. But for now, it's going to be very, very light. So we're going to leave the lightest part closest to the candle, and we're just going to put the Deco Yellow a little bit into the parts where I've already shaded. Okay, just a bit. You want the white to be around the candle so that you can get a nice glow. So just a little bit, very softly. Okay, and this one as well. Yeah, so that was my work week. It's the summer holiday, so it's just exams and marking, and soon I will, however, start preparing material for the new semester, but that I've got some time before I need to do that. Okay, and over here as well around this lamp, also going to put it on the wood that we did. Okay, and now I'm just going to blend out with the eggshell. Okay, and over here, I think we've gotten a nice glow. I'm happy with that. Oh, the kids are outside playing. Yeah, so that was my work week. What else did I do this week? I finished my book. I finished both my audiobook and my library book. Just a sec. Well, they're both from the library, but one of them is an audiobook and the other one is an ebook. Okay, we are now going to do the floor. And for that, I think we're going to again use the sepia and the patty beige. Now this is going to be darker, okay? So, because the floor is under the bed. So basically here is dark and here is lighter. So we start with the shadows. Okay. Yeah, so the audiobook that I finished is called An Evil Heart. Book number, I can't even remember the numbers, but I think it might be 15 in the Kate Burkholder series, which is an excellent series about a police chief in a small town in Ohio. And most of the plots, in fact, all of the plots have something to do with the Amish. And they're mysteries. So it was really good. I enjoyed it. Okay, we're just going to put in the shadows. And then the book, the ebook that I was reading was No Ordinary Duchess by Elizabeth Hoyt. Now, Elizabeth Hoyt, she writes historical romances. She also writes contemporary romances, but under a different name. The contemporary books are under the name Julia Harper. She only wrote like 3. I've read them. They're okay. They're good. But her historical romances are great. She, unlike many historical romance authors who generally write in the Victorian or Regency periods, just hold on one second. I have a frog in my throat. Okay, frog is gone. So unlike a lot of authors, as I said, who write in Victorian and Regency periods, Elizabeth Hoyt writes in the Georgian period, which is much less common. And so the clothing is different, the social norms are different, and so they're really good. And she also does excellent research, and quite a few of her characters are of lower social class. So unlike a lot of other romance authors who write in the historical romance genre, most of their books focus on, the ton, like, for example, in the Bridgertons, dukes and viscounts and whatnot. But Elizabeth Hoyt has a lot of lower class characters as her protagonists as well, which is really good. I mean, she does have dukes as well, and she does include the upper classes as well. But and she's not afraid to write about the darker side. Like, they're not cute and cozy like the Bridgertons. There are social critiques. She writes a lot. She has a series called the Maiden Lane series, which is set a lot in St. Giles, which is an area of London in Victorian times and in Georgian, Regency, and Victorian times that was, the poorer areas, a lot of violence, a lot of crime. And so the Maiden Lane series is set a lot in that area of London. And so it's really good. So this, however, the book that I read does not belong to that series. It belongs to a different series called the Grey Court series. And this is the 3rd book. It's also the final book because it looks like Elizabeth Hoyt, sadly, has stopped writing. And so this book is the last book that she's written, and I hope she does come back and writes more, because there is room in this series for more books. So it's also set in Georgian times, but it's not the Maiden Lane series. It's got a completely different plot, different characters. And while I liked it overall, I don't think it was as good as the Maiden Lane series. I preferred the Maiden Lane. I felt that the characters weren't as well developed, and with all due respect, the plot is far too busy. There's far too much going on. It becomes confusing after a while. Anyway, but I do want to know what happens to some of the secondary characters. So I do hope that she writes another one eventually, but she does seem to have vanished, which is sad, because I love her writing. I love her writing style. Okay, I think that's it for the underneath of the bed. Let's turn the page and have a look at what we've got. Oh yes, I like that. That looks very good. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to do the wood. Now for the wood, as I said, I'm going to use 3 different colors. Let me just get them. I'm going to use dark umber, light umber, and this is sienna brown. Now, if we look at the page, we see that the shelves are adjacent to the light sources. So this part of the shelf will be dark, this part of the shelf will be light. Also here on the window, this part of the window frame will be light, this part will be dark. And we will progress with that. So let's start off with our light umber. Yeah, so I finished those books. Let's start here. I finished those books, and I started new ones. So the current book that I'm reading, the EPUB book from the library is The Wrong Victim. It's called The Wrong Victim. It's by Alison Brennan. Again, it's a mystery. So just a second, I want to make sure that I don't put too much dark color in the highlight area. Okay, so it is book number 3 in the Quinn and Costa series. So as I said, she writes thrillers, and this particular series is about a team of FBI agents. They are part of the mobile response team. So basically, they are agents. They all have different areas of expertise, and they go to areas where there's not a lot of resources for the local police. So the local police have asked them to come in. I'm actually going to use, not eggshell, I'm going to use sand, just to put in some more highlight there. Okay, and yeah, so they don't have a lot of resources, and they ask the FBI to come in and help them, and they send this team to help them. So the team is led by Costa, that's the Costa in the Quinn and Costa, and his partner is not actually an FBI agent. She is an LAPD detective who has joined the team because in Los Angeles she was an undercover police officer, but she's been burned, so she can't be there anymore. So she's helping the FBI. Oh, I like this. This is looking good. Now here for these bits. Again, we're leaving a highlight. Okay, this one doesn't really have to have the highlight because it's in the shadow. So we can make it darker, and then we put, yeah, here just a little bit of this. And then the sand for blending. Okay, and here for our window frame, let me just turn that around. Okay, so that is the book that I'm reading. It's good. I'm enjoying it. I do feel that there's too much rehashing of plot points. Alison Brennan repeats the books are about just over 400 pages in length, and in my opinion, her books could be about 350 pages if she stopped rehashing everything. People, you don't need to rehash so much. Okay. Yeah, but it's good. The plot is good so far. There's been an explosion on a boat, and now they're trying to see who amongst the passengers was the target of this explosion, or if it was the boating company. I'm thinking one of the passengers was the target. So we will see. I'm not very far in. I'm like 6 chapters in. Okay, just deepening up shadows there as well. Okay, now again here, because this side will be lighter, this side will be darker. Okay, and then I've also started an audiobook. I'm reading The Spider by Jennifer Estep. This is book 10 in the Elemental Assassin series. So it's an urban fantasy. The world building in this series is fabulous. It's about people who have powers associated with the elements. So some people can control the weather, some people can control stone, some people can control fire, ice, all sorts of things. The heroine, whose name is Jin Blanco, she has 2 powers. Now, having 2 powers is rare in this world, but she has 2. She can control ice and she can control stone. And there are powers that are associated with each other. So someone who can control ice is not going to be able to control fire, for example, because they're opposing powers. Anyway, this book is a prequel. So I read up to book 9, and then I forgot about the series for quite a while. Now, what am I doing? I am taking this, and we are going to put this here and here. Just 1 second, I'm just putting in the colors for the window parts. Okay, this part is darker. Yeah, so I read the first 9 books and then sort of languished, and I wasn't really going to read this prequel book because, I already know, I don't like prequels. For prequels, you already know what's going to happen. So all of the suspense is gone because you know what's going to happen. And so I'm not really a fan of prequels. But because it's been a long time since I read this book, and I know that the book is sort of going to recap some things, I've decided I am going to read it, and I've started. I haven't gotten very far. I'm in the first chapter. So yeah, not far at all. I do want to cover over that sand with the umber because I want it to be really light. Yeah, so that's that. For this part, we're going to put the sand and then the umber, because our light source is over there. Yeah, so that's what I'm reading, that's what I'm listening to, and yes. I might have said in the previous Saturday Snippets that I also do puzzles. So I like to listen to my audiobooks while I'm doing puzzles. So I've just finished a physical puzzle. There is a puzzle manufacturer called Lawrence King, and they do puzzles that are based on works of literature. So I did the Jane Austen puzzle, and the puzzle that I just did and finished now was based on the Romantics. So Wordsworth and Shelley and Percy Shelley, Mary Shelley, Lord Byron, and all sorts of other authors from that time period. And yeah, it's a fun puzzle. I felt that it was not as difficult of a puzzle as the Jane Austen one. Okay, now for here, I'm not going to put in all of these lines. I'm just going to cover it all up. So I'm just covering all this up with the light umber. Yeah, so I finished that puzzle, and now I'm taking a break from physical puzzles and going back to doing some puzzles on the app that I have on my iPad. So I have an app called Magic Puzzles, and I'm going to be doing some of those because I really like them, and I haven't been doing them because I've been doing physical puzzles. I still have some physical puzzles in my collection that I can still do, but I'm taking a break from them because I can sit on the couch with the app and do the puzzle. But for the physical puzzle, I have to stand up by the puzzle, and it's been hurting my neck. So I need a break. We also have a place where you can exchange puzzles. So it's a puzzle library. So once I've collected a lot of physical puzzles and I've done them, I will take them to the library, the puzzle library, to exchange. I'm just deepening up shadows here as well with the dark umber. Okay, but here we use the sienna. Where's my sienna? There it is. Yeah, so that's what else I've been doing. So updates on Animals on Threads. As you know, if you've been watching, let me just get the other color that I used there, which was the seashell pink, just to blend out. As you know, I am on Threads and I follow lots of accounts with animals. And so there have been some good animal stories this week as well. So Threads is funny. It knows what you're doing. It's sort of Big Brother is watching you. So I liked one video about guinea pigs. Okay, so there was this video about these guinea pigs. They were, I don't know, in some sort of garden. And the keeper in this garden wanted to move them from one place to another place. And these two locations were like in proximity to one another. The garden was over here, the hutch for the guinea pigs was over here, and he wanted to move them from here to there. So he got some sort of plank, hollowed out plank sort of thing. He put it one end in the little garden and one end in the hutch, and the guinea pigs just ran across. So cute. They were just adorable. So I liked this video, and since then I have been getting guinea pig videos, lots and lots of guinea pig videos. And they're so cute, these guinea pigs. Anyway, so they're guinea pigs, and what else did I see? So another video that I saw was a puppy riding on a Roomba. So I tried to share this video with Chrissy because we are on Instagram together and we share videos, and I don't know, she wasn't able to see it. So I told her that I would put it on the Saturday Snippets. So we're just going to take a short little break from coloring so that I can show you the adorable puppy on a Roomba. Adorable. I think he's so cute, and he looks a lot like Toby looked when he was a puppy. So I'm thinking he was a Jack Russell. Okay, what are we doing next? We've done the wood. We're going to start doing this frame as well. So wait, let me 1 second. Let me just turn the page again. We're going to start on this side. Okay, now for this, we're going to use artichoke. Okay, we're going to use sand, and we're going to use, not sepia, we're going to use dark umber, okay? And we're going to leave a highlight in the middle so that it looks like gold, okay? So let's start with the artichoke. Okay, so just, leave the highlight in the middle. Little bit of sand and a little bit of the dark umber just in the corners there. So that, the neighborhood is very busy. I don't know if you can hear lots of people out and about. I can hear the children playing. Yes, that's nice. I like that. Yeah, make sure to leave a highlight. Okay. Yeah, if you can hear screaming children, they're not being murdered. They're just playing. Yes, so that was the puppy that I saw. I saw that Neil the seal has left Tasmania. He's gone back off into the ocean to do what elephant seals do. So someone was also talking about elephant seals and other large animals, and so they were saying the elephant seal is the second largest marine animal after the I think the sperm whale. Yeah, and just wait, I think I want this to be a bit more blended as well. Ooh, I like that. And then another interesting fact was that they are the second largest land animal, because they can go on the land as well, after the elephant and before the polar bear. Polar bear is a third. And then, of course, because, I'd liked all these videos, Threads was giving me other videos. So another video that I got was one about the world's most dangerous animals, and that people are not aware of the world's most dangerous animals. People just think that predators, yes, like lions and tigers, and that these are the most dangerous animals, and they're not. The most dangerous land animal is the hippopotamus. They are really, really aggressive, especially the males, and very, very territorial. Wait a minute, that's too much. Let's erase some of that. Get my highlight back. Yeah, they're really, really territorial, and they can run really fast, and they are responsible for the deaths of about 6,000 people per year. That is just wow. Yeah, so that was interesting. The most deadly creature, well, it's not really, it's not a mammal, it's an insect, is the mosquito. It's responsible for over 1 million deaths per year because of malaria. They spread malaria, and so they are the number one animal responsible for human deaths. So that was really interesting. I am just, Threads knows that I like these interesting facts. So another interesting fact that was on this week was about the Bayeux tapestry. So the Bayeux tapestry is on display. It's at the British Museum. It has been loaned to the British Museum by France, and something like 80,000 people have lined up to buy tickets to see it. It's gorgeous. This is the Bayeux tapestry. It's really beautiful. It depicts the Norman conquest of England. So up until 1066, the English were ruled by the Anglo-Saxons. It's a long history. I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but basically, actually, I might tell you. It's interesting. I love history. So the English were originally lots of different tribes. So you had the Celts, you had the Picts, you had the Welsh, and then they were conquered by the Romans, but not Scotland. Scotland was not conquered by the Romans. In fact, the Romans built a wall, Hadrian's Wall, to keep the Scots and the Picts out because, they were quite aggressive. And so eventually the Romans were having internal strife back home in Rome, and they left. They left the British Isles. And the local people were, they were being subjected to marauding tribes of Picts and Scots and Vikings and all that. And so they asked for help from the Germanic tribes, the Anglo-Saxons, the Anglos and the Saxons, which were Germanic tribes, for sort of like protection. And of course, once the Anglo-Saxons arrived, that they took over. So, beware of who you ask for help from. And so then they were ruled by the Anglo-Saxons for many, many years. And then in 1066, also a long story, but basically Emma of Normandy married King, his name was Ethelred the Unready. And she married him. She was the sister of the Duke of Normandy. And she had 2 sons. And then the Vikings invaded, and King Nut became King of England. By this time, I think Ethelred the Unready he had died, and his son, I'm trying to keep track, his son had become king, perhaps, but he was too young, and Emma was the regent, something like that. Anyway, Emma of Normandy married King Nut. She was his second wife, and she had 2 children with him as well. So when King Nut died, her other children by Ethelred were sent to live in Normandy with their uncle. And I don't think Emma ever saw them again. So when King Nut died, her son by him became king. But Emma was losing power, so she then decided that she was going to support her other son, Edward, who was living in Normandy. So she helped him come across to England to take the throne. And he did. He succeeded in taking the throne, but he was really angry with her because, she'd sent them off to Normandy, and he stripped her of all of her powers. And anyway, so that was Edward the First. Edward the First. Now, Edward the First did not have any children, okay? And so when he died, there were a few contenders to the throne. One of them was Harold, who was his cousin, nephew, something like that. I'll put on the screen. I am not really sure how Harold was related to Edward. He was his cousin by marriage, okay? And the other main contender was William of Normandy. He was the son of the Duke of Normandy. He was Emma's great nephew. So he was a maternal cousin to Edward. And to cut a long story short, the Normans invaded England in 1066, and they defeated the forces of King Harold at the Battle of Hastings, and Harold was killed in the battle, and then the Normans became the rulers of England. And this is what the Bayeux Tapestry depicts: the Battle of Hastings, and the beginning of Norman rule, which is basically the current descendants. The current monarchy can trace their lineage. They can actually trace their lineage back to Ethelred the Unready. And Edward was Emma's son, and William the Conqueror was Emma's great nephew. So they can trace their lineage back to Emma, and which I think is really interesting. Anyway, but I'm digressing. So, what else? So that's what the tapestry depicts, and it was made in England very soon after the Battle of Hastings, and it was a gift from the English people to William the Conqueror. How it ended up in France, I'm not sure. It ended up in France somehow, but the French have now allowed the British Museum to display the tapestry, it's just magnificent, absolutely gorgeous. So that was interesting. I saw that on Threads. What else did I see? Trying to think what else I saw, what else I did this week. yeah, as I said, it was a quiet week. I saw that, staying with the Vikings, I saw that in the World Cup, England are going to play Norway. Okay, so yeah, so the post on Threads basically said that the match is going to mimic history because it's England versus Norway, so it's the English versus the Vikings. And if it follows history, then just as Norway is about to defeat England, the French will invade the pitch and take over. I thought that was very funny. So that was cool. That was my week. Now, I think that we have been coloring for a long time. Let me zoom out, see what we've got so far. We have done the wood. We have started doing the background. I am going to finish the rest of this gold border off camera, and then next week we will continue coloring all of the other knickknacks in the page. I'm thinking it's possible. I'm not promising, but it's possible that we might actually finish the page. We will see. So thank you everybody for joining me for this week, and I hope to see you again next week. Bye for now.